Megyn Kelly defended Jeffrey Epstein, and now we know exactly why she did. It's the same feeling that I had when Donald Trump said to Ghislaine Maxwell, "I wish you well." Huh, that was strange. And when Megyn Kelly said this overwhelming evidence proving that Epstein was a disgusting criminal pedo, she said, "Well, I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't jump to conclusion. Maybe we push back on it." Oh, that was a weird thing to say, Megyn Kelly. But now with a new, huge dump of Epstein evidence, we are seeing why. A photo that should end Megyn Kelly's career and the explanation for her Epstein defense. We are going to get into it all, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we get into the photo that proves Megyn Kelly's lies and exposes her, should end her career, I want to start with what Ro Khanna had to say about what else is coming in these Epstein files. More photos, more videos, more documents, and what the survivors expect to be told about the men associated with Epstein.
Tonight, Congressman, both you and your Republican co-sponsor, Congressman Tom Massey of Kentucky, have said on social media already, way short, doesn't do it. Has the Justice Department given you a credible, reasonable explanation of why?
No, they have not. And I'm saddened today because I was talking to the survivors. There was so much anticipation for today. They thought finally they are being seen, they're being heard, we're going to have a release. This morning, when the Deputy Attorney General went on television and said he's going to release hundreds of thousands of documents, not the whole thing, Thomas Massey and I texted each other, and we said we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. We're not as concerned about having the full release. As long as they're complying with the spirit of the law, at least they're going to release something. But then we saw the documents filled with blanket redactions, documents that judges had ordered to be released, they had blanked out. There's no draft indictment there that actually has the names of other men who may be implicated in the abuse. There's not the prosecution's original memo that we wanted to see released. There are none of the files on Epstein's computer. And we do not know then who these other rich and powerful men were who abused these survivors. And we know from the survivors and the survivors' lawyers that that information is in the files. So this is deeply disappointing. They have not complied with the law, and we're going to continue to fight to make sure they do.
There is so much more coming. This was about 1% of the Epstein files. And for all the Trump sycophants and defenders like Megyn Kelly, who say, oh, it's fine, oh, we just move on, who maybe for a second there entertained the idea of actually caring about this until they realized how damaging it would be to their president, they've just told us to stop paying attention. In fact, they moved from the position of stop paying attention, stop caring, just move on, just don't worry about it, to defending Epstein. That's what they did. And defending Donald Trump's relationship with him. It was a lot of, oh, he bumped into him at a dinner. Oh, he was at his house. Well, everybody was at his house. Well, he was his best friend. Well, lots of people say that they're best friends. I don't believe it. They kept moving the goalposts. We saw this happen in real time. But maybe the most disgusting example of it was how Megyn Kelly tried to justify Epstein's assaults on children and what she thought was going on. This clip is so important before we get into the photo that proves it all wrong, but we just got to start with this disgusting thing Megyn Kelly said.
As for Epstein, I've said this before, but just as a reminder, I do know somebody very, very close to this case who is in a position to know virtually everything. Not everything, but virtually everything. And this person has told me from the start, years and years ago, that Jeffrey Epstein, in this person's view, was not a pedophile. This is this person's view, who was there for a lot of this, but that he was into the barely legal type. Like he liked 15-year-old girls. And I realize this is disgusting. I'm definitely not trying to make an excuse for this. I'm just giving you facts. That he wasn't into like 8-year-olds, but he liked the very young teen types that could pass for even younger than they were, but would look legal to a passerby.
Megyn Kelly's position was, not that bad. A teenager, and anything else going on? Can I complain about Joe Biden? Donald Trump's best friend was assaulting teenagers. I was just teenagers, practically adults, almost legal. That was Megyn Kelly's defense of Donald Trump. It was disgusting. It was disgusting in the moment, but it has only been made more disgusting, more appalling by the photos that were released of Epstein. This is incredibly disturbing, but we got to take a look. This photo of Epstein with a toddler, clearly a young child to his left, was released in the Epstein files, and the first person who posted it wrote, "That's a toddler, I'm going to puke," with a Twitter user responding, just underscores how absolutely fucked up that this guy's best friend is the president. A MAGA account shared this photo, clearly a child in pajamas, and wrote, "This is getting too dark. This is not fun." A lot of people responded to this, but I thought the most important was, "Yeah, man, I thought Pedophile Rapist Island was going to be a hoot." And responding to that same photo of Epstein with the child, a Twitter user wrote, "Remember when that Megyn Kelly bitch was saying, actually, it's not pedophilia, Epstein was just into teenagers." So how are you feeling now, Megyn Kelly? How are you feeling now? Photos with children. How are you feeling now? Do you feel like you made a really great contribution in the conversation? We just all had to know what you thought, and that it was pretty much okay. It was teenagers. It's all good. Are you really, really glad you gave us your 2 cents? But it reveals to me something deeper about how MAGA has viewed this the whole time, how Republicans, how Donald Trump and his supporters have viewed this the whole time. They really did think it was a joke. They thought it was a joke. It was a political pawn for them the whole time. We've always known this, but they really did think it was a joke. For people to respond and say, "Oh my God, this is gross, this is dark, I can't believe it was going to be like," what did you think was going to come out? He was a pedophile. He was convicted. What did you think this was going to be? Donald Trump and his idiot goons turned Epstein into like this joke. Like, oh, we're going to get the Epstein files, we're going to get them, and yeah, and the conspiracy, and the libs, and Bill Clinton. And it was a joke to them. Like Stephen Chung, Donald Trump's comms guy, that fat, ugly fuck, Jabba the Hutt looking blech. He was posting like Bill Clinton, like, oh, he's up to something. Oh, look, it's Bill Clinton. Then arrest him. Like, they think it's a game. They think it's a game. Like, they think it's funny. They've thought it was funny. They thought it was a bit. It was a joke. Jeffrey Epstein is not a conspiracy theory. That is how MAGA viewed him. He was not a conspiracy theory. He was a real criminal. He was a disgusting rapist. Like, that's what Jeffrey Epstein was. He wasn't a bit. He wasn't the punchline to a joke. He ruined and destroyed and ended the lives of countless young girls and women and who knows how many people. It wasn't a joke. It wasn't a conspiracy. And that's clearly how MAGA viewed it and how they view everything else. Just a fun little toy to play around with, a joke. They don't take any of this seriously. They never did and never do. That's what we're learning. And that's how Megyn Kelly clearly viewed it as well. It was kind of a joke. She didn't care. And that's why she was so quick to defend him, because it was all abstract to them. They don't take it seriously. Well, now it's real fucking serious, isn't it? It's not so much fun anymore. This isn't fun? What type of response is that? You thought the Epstein files were going to be fun? Like, that's what they thought. On the campaign trail, oh, we're going to release the Epstein files. It's going to be fun. What part of this would be fun? People's lives were ended and ruined. You thought it was fun? They're disgusting people. They really are. It's why accountability needs to be coming. And Ro Khanna is going to be one of the people to deliver it, which is why he said, what he said right here was so important.
Well, the survivors were approaching today with such anticipation. And I'm glad that they're actually releasing documents and abiding in that way with the law. But I've got to tell you, I've been very disappointed with the partial nature of the release. One of the documents, 119 pages that a federal judge wanted released, is totally redacted, and there's no explanation for the redactions. We also so far have not seen the draft indictment and a lot of the witness interview memorandum that would explain who were the rich and powerful men who abused these young girls or who were at parties covering up the abuse. So there needs to be a lot more that comes out in the days ahead.
Congressman, speaking of those rich and powerful men, your co-author of this bill, Congressman Thomas Massie, said yesterday that at least 20 men accused of sex crimes are in the FBI's Epstein files. He said that if this release doesn't include some of the names, that is an indication that not all of the documents have been produced. Do you agree with that? And do you know when and if that list will come out?
Well, he's right, and he's right because he's talked to the survivors. He's talked to the survivors' lawyers. They have said that there are other rich and powerful men who engaged in either sex trafficking, paying for sex with young women, engaged in abuse of underage girls, or were present at parties where 16 and 15-year-olds were paraded and just watched and did nothing. And the reality is that's what we want to see come out. It's less about is this a full release and more about the quality of the release and what are they hiding? Why are they not having the draft indictment come out, which has some of this information or leads to this information? Why are they not having the witness interviews come out? That is really what the survivors want out and what we're after.
The Department of Justice has said in the letter sent over to members of Congress like yourself that they have not fully released this. We know that at this point. What can you do to compel the Department of Justice to release all of these documents? What are the tools at your disposal?
Well, first of all, the Department of Justice 6 months ago, Pam Bondi said they've released everything, and now they're releasing more. So obviously they weren't being fully truthful back then. We can have the survivors come back to the Hill to demand a release. That is what moved public opinion in the first place. That is what got my bill to pass the House and the Senate and the president to sign it. There are also, of course, punitive actions. Thomas Massie and I have discussed possible impeachment, referrals for criminal prosecution if people aren't complying. And folks say, well, how is the Justice Department going to prosecute their own people? But there's no statute of limitations that runs out when we have a new administration. We could hold them in inherent contempt of Congress. So there are many options, including lawsuits against the Department of Justice. But my interest is not punitive against Pam Bondi or the Deputy Attorney General or Trump. It's to find justice, and I want to see what we can do to get more of these documents released.
There will be accountability. There needs to be a clear message sent to everyone involved that if you are a part of this cover-up, you are a criminal. It is the same with the illegal orders that Pete Hegseth is giving out. If you follow them, you are breaking the law. This is not a just following orders thing. So either come to the right side of history or go to jail with Pam Bondi. That's it. That's the truth. And we're going to keep speaking that truth on this show every single day. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. If you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. Keep on fighting, y'all. Don't let them silence you. And until next time, I'll see you soon.